Sup, y'all, it's Andrea, and today we're going to be talking about Nigeria versus Romania growing up. Or should I say, growing up in Nigeria versus Romania? So, what really goes on? I think I'm going to start with growing up in Nigeria since that was where I grew up first, and then Romania. So, growing up in Nigeria, one thing I remembered for sure was probably the snacks, playing, having friends, and all that. And in Romania, I spent very little of my childhood, and now my teenagehood, if that still counts as a childhood. I think it does because I still feel like a child. And I think that I experienced both in a way. When I think about the Nigerian childhood, at least the one that I had and a bunch of kids had, all I think about is getting friends. Like, you always have friends, you're always playing, you're always getting messy. I remembered riding bikes a lot, food, you have neighbors and all that, and like really kind neighbors that maybe once in a while you see your neighbors sharing food to you, especially during the Christmas season. And yeah, like you get a lot of love from your neighbors around. But the one thing that I would say that disqualified the whole childhood in Nigeria might have been the insecurities. By insecurities, I'm talking about the fear of being kidnapped, the fear of being used for rituals if you're a female child, the the fear of the fear of getting raped, the fear of so many things. The fear of also messing yourself. I think a lot of parents might have had that. Like, you, they just finished doing the laundry and you are messing the clothing. And we know that in Nigeria, like, not a lot of, like, a lot nowadays have washing machines, but not everybody have washing machines. One thing I really loved and that I really like thought about recently was probably the snacks. Like, you had a bunch of snacks which you can't find anywhere else in the world, I guess, unless it's in an African shop, like minimi chin chin. Um, I remember this one snack before I left Nigeria called Munchit, and I hope it still exists. So, like, there were a lot of things which could legit make your childhood, and a lot of games, a lot of outdoor games, tag. But like, we had like these games like playing with tires and so many things. And I feel like to other foreigners, they would see that as, as poverty or something, what they show on the media. But I wouldn't choose my childhood any other way. Like, to me, it was it was a 10 out of 10 childhood. Like, I feel like if all these should be brought to the kids over here, they will legit enjoy activities like that, especially in the summer. But that's not a conversation we're ready for. So let's move over to childhood in Romania. Before now permanently living in Romania, I remember being in Romania when I was 3 years old. Yes, my memory is still intact for what happened when I was 3 years old. Before then, maybe when I was two or one and a half, I was still a baby. I didn't remember anything then. But I remember when I was 3 years old, and what I also remembered playing outside, especially with my cousin. I was at the countryside. One thing for sure is that you feel secured, but just like everywhere else, you sort of, as a parent though, you'd probably have like the fear of where is your child going to because they have so much freedom. I guess that was how I was taken to a cemetery without my mom's knowledge. Yeah, not something a lot of parents would have wanted. So in Nigeria though, I remember having a lot of friends over here. I guess it depends if you're, I don't know for other people, but for me, having friends wasn't very easy because as of that time, I remember that I would play alone outside trying to get some kids' attentions, probably. And when I would be playing outside, my parents would sort of like lock the gates. Maybe they didn't even know I was outside. Maybe they thought I was around the yard. and I would be banging on the stuff because I was too short to open it as of then. And then I would end up crying and just staying alone until somebody notices that I am not around. Yeah, I'll say that I don't remember much, but I only remember having two friends and they were not even my age. They were like 5 years older than me or more. Right now they're in university or maybe done with it. Okay, so and I'm still in high school. So you could imagine. As of now, which I'm still in my childhood, I believe so. I'm still under 18. Um I would say that right now is much better. Like I said, having friends ain't easy, but it really depends because I am an introvert and I do not like making friends a lot. Not that I don't like, it's just it's just some things, okay? I do enjoy the snacks. I enjoy the food. Like both places have amazing food for kids. Like not just kids here, I mean people in general. And the food is also amazing. You get to go out, there's more freedom. Like if I was in Nigeria, I don't think I would have been allowed because of security issues to go really far alone, especially and later at night. But I won't say that here is completely safe because at night there are still some creeps, still some pedophiles, still a lot of weird things going around. You see drunk people, you see a lot. Yeah, you kind of find a lot of creeps. Like, yeah, I remember this time I was at the beach, and even though a dude clearly saw, and I clearly said that I was in the dressing room, he still opened. So a lot of people are weird everywhere, actually, in both places. But I'm just saying to be careful, saying the cons, saying the pros. So, overall, how is childhood, having your childhood in these two places? Like, for me, where would I prefer? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, it's up to y'all. Some people really had a legit childhood. Like, when I hear my friends telling me about their childhood, I'm like, that sounded fun. Like that sounded fun. Yeah. The only thing is that over here in Romania, like you don't see a lot of space. Like it's very rare, in my opinion, like to see a huge field where you can play football, where you can ride bikes. Maybe you only ride in the summer. You get it? Um, so you don't like have a lot of things to explore, a lot of things to do around the year. In Nigeria, you get to ride your bikes all year long as far as you're free from school or anything around. And you could easily find like people who maybe you want to play with, maybe play football, find a field over here. Maybe unless you're joining a football club or you're at a park, and not all parks have that much space, like, and if they do, maybe they're really really far, but like you easily have access to places to play and have a lot of things, a lot of creativity in games and stuff. I wouldn't have had my childhood any other way, and I do not regret my childhood, to be honest. I really do not. And I think that's kind of the same way for a lot of people from all over the world, not just Romania or Nigeria. So it's up to you from, let's say, these points of mine or my experience and possibly others, for you to find out what works best for you. If you really found this video helpful, please consider subscribing, as it would really mean a lot to me in my 1000 subscribers journey. So stay tuned and stay updated for the next video. Bye bye.